Steve's in Columbus, Ohio. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
All right. Well, thanks for taking my call. As of probably about a year ago, I didn't even know the Dave Ramsey show had existed. But since then, I've been listening to you guys on the radio and your podcast.
Well, thank you.
All right. Thank you. So what I've done since then is I eliminated some small debit cards and credit cards.
Okay, your phone's going in and out. If you could speak directly into it, maybe that'll help.
Okay, I'm sorry. So since then, I have refinanced my house from a 5-year or a 30-year 5% fixed rate to a 15-year 2.5% rate, which saved me a ton of money. I would have never known to have done that unless I was listening to you guys.
Cool.
So now the only debt that I have is my house payment and the car payment. But what one of my questions is then I have $22,000 in cash in a safety deposit box, and I probably keep about $20,000 cash in my savings. What would you recommend that I do with that? I'm 48 years old and have no retirement.
Okay. So you're 100% debt-free except your home.
Except for the home and a truck payment that I probably owe like $7,000.
Okay. First thing I'm going to do is pay off the truck.
Okay.
Today. And now you're debt-free. And then you need to set aside 3 to 6 months of expenses as an emergency fund of that money. So what do you think 3 to 6 months of expenses sounds like?
Well, my house payment's only $850 a month. So
what's your household income?
So right now I'm single. I am engaged, but just mine alone, I make $40 an hour. I average probably about 45 hours a week.
Okay. So what do you pay taxes on a year?
I think it's around $2,400.
A year?
Yep.
Now, what's your annual income is what I'm asking.
Oh, my annual income for me is probably about $80,000.
That's what I was thinking. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And so let's call 3 to 6 months of expenses $20,000 for the fun of it.
Okay.
And we're going to set that money aside and never touch it for anything. It's there just as an umbrella when it rains.
So that's kind of what I've been doing with the safety.
Yeah, I don't want to kind of do it anymore. I don't want to kind of do it. I want to label it that and then never touch it.
Okay, I have kind of forgotten about it.
Yeah, unless there's an emergency, you don't touch it.
Okay.
And a new bass boat is not an emergency.
I understand that.
Yeah, okay.
So every time since I've been listening to you, I'm like, do I really need this turbo?
Yeah. All right, then the rest of it, we're going to move on to the other baby steps and start your retirement account. And you need to set up a Roth IRA and anything else you can set up to get going on your savings and start saving for retirement.
Okay.
And your SmartVestor Pro can help you with that if you just go to RamseySolutions.com and click on SmartVestor. And so, Christine, that's an example of a lot of that guy's a natural saver. He's done a good job.
Yeah.
Really good job. I mean, he's got money there, and he's not got much debt. A little $7,000 truck payment, way ahead of most Americans by far. You know, but he's sitting there, but he's listless and hasn't yet used the power of his income to not only get out of debt first, but then to point it towards something other than just piling up cash in a safe deposit box, and start pointing it towards wealth building. Because if the inflation rate is 9%, and that's what they say it is, that means every $10,000 that is in there is losing $900 a year.
Ouch.
In 2 years, that's $2,000 you lost sitting in the safe deposit box in purchasing power, right? And so you can't let money just sit in a stack of Benjamins. It goes down in value. And I remember when I first got on the air, I had this old hillbilly guy call me. I loved it. It was a great call because people reminded me of my whole growing up years. And he's like, yeah, I got $20,000 buried in a coffee can somewhere out in the yard. What do you think of that? And I'm like, I think that's really dumb on a whole bunch of fronts. Number one, your neighbor might have a metal detector, and he's out there with a beep, 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 looking around in the middle of the night. You wonder what's going on out there. Number two, paper left with moisture around it and bugs will deteriorate. You might go out there and find nothing but a little pile of confetti where your money used to be. And number three, you know what $20,000 is in 7 years? It's $40,000. You know what it is in 7 more years? It's $80,000. You know what it is in 7 more years? $160,000. And so in the last 21 years, you have lost $150,000 with that money sitting in a coffee can. You know, I think I'm gonna dig it up. I think you need to, son. So that's called opportunity cost. We talk about that in high finance. It's the missed opportunity that the money could have had.
Yep. Yeah, and I think it's awesome that he's a natural saver, because when somebody like this finds a plan, then they typically get on fire and they're good at executing. We're not having to deal with changing habits. We're not having to deal with, cutting off a spending bleed. But this person's going to find this and just dive in and be on track for wealth quickly.
A spending bleed.
A spending bleed.
There could be a spending bleed in the culture. There could be a lot of people bleeding to death with their spending bleed.
Yeah.
That's very possible, yeah. Because what you're talking about is most people spend more than they make. They spend money like they're in Congress.
Right.
And, he's not. He's doing a really good job. So,
well it's
done.
like, if you've got the spending bleed, we have not only the principles that you need to learn, but
We have
you've
the
got to have
tourniquet.
it.
We have the
we got
tourniquet.
the tourniquet.
We can stop the bleeding, baby. It's what we do.